So now we want to actually calculate the ratings for each team. And so to do that, we're going to use our data solver. So up near the top here under data, we're going to click solver. And that's going to bring up this box. And you might need to click reset all. The first time you bring this up, you shouldn't need to, but if you make a mistake, when you come back in here, click reset all. Make sure that this box here says GRG nonlinear. We want to set our objective to be cell I1, that squared error there. And we want it to be a minimum. So we want to click that box. And we want to do it by changing variable cells. The cells we want to change are this squared or this home margin. So you want to click in that cell, and then comma, and then we want to highlight all of our ratings here. Once you have that, you want to uncheck this make unconstrained variables non-negative. We want to click add, and we want the mean team rating, so this negative 3.5 at the top here. So we're going to click in that cell. We want that to equal 0. Okay, so that'll tell us that the average team rating is 0, and then the rest of the ratings will be centered around 0. When you're done with that, you can click OK, and then you should be able to click solve and come up with an answer. When it does, you can just click OK to keep the solver solution. And you can see it actually says -0 for the mean. That's a very small negative number. It's very close to 0. We can see our home margin changed to 2.2. Okay, so we're saying that if you're the home team, you have a 2.2 point advantage. The squared error, the sum of the squared error was as small as possible. And now we have a rating for each team. So you can see over here we have our ranking. The Chiefs were number 2. The New Orleans Saints were number 1 at 10.09. Patriots are 8th at 5.16. And the Green Bay Packers 22nd at -2.8. We can compare that if we come over here to Pro Football Reference. They actually have a simple rating system here. And you can see the New Orleans Saints 10.1. Well, New Orleans Saints 10.1. The Kansas City Chiefs 8.9. Kansas City Chiefs on ours here 8.9. So they're doing something very similar, if not exactly the same, to calculate that simple rating system on their webpage. So this is one way that you can use to calculate a rating system for teams, and then you can actually use that to make predictions as well. So if we were to come down here to our playoff games, we would see that, for example, in the wild card round, we would see that we actually gave the Houston Texans, we had them as 2.6 point favorites, but they ended up losing by 14. The Ravens were 3.3 point favorites. The Bears were almost a touchdown favorite. And then the Seahawks were actually favored by 1 point. Now, unfortunately, in that round, the games ended up going exactly the opposite of all of those predictions. Okay. But we can see in the next round, the Chiefs did beat the Colts like we expected. The Rams beat the Cowboys. The Patriots beat the Chargers. And the Saints did beat the Eagles. You go to the conference championship, and those games both, again, went the opposite of what we would have expected. And then we get to the Super Bowl, and there we expected the Rams to win by 1 point, and the Patriots won by 10. Okay? So while this is not a perfect system at making predictions, it is going to help explain what happened during the season with as small of error as possible. Okay? And you could do this for any sport. Take their home points, their away points, home margin, and calculate all of this in exactly the same manner.